Hey. Welcome. Day number five. Day number five of 30 days of gold and silver. First of all, let me just say that this is Billy B. Josie III, the president and CEO of Stoneleaf Ventures LLC, where we help everyday people create generational wealth and legacy through gold and silver and digital marketing. So this is day number five, and I entitled this day, Why the Dollar Loses Purchasing Power Over Time. So here's a question. Is $100 today really the same as $100 20 years ago? Of course, the number hasn't changed. It's still $100. But what that $100 can buy has changed dramatically. And that's what we're talking about today, purchasing power. And once you understand purchasing power, you'll probably never look at money sitting in your bank account exactly the same way again. So, again, welcome to day number five of 30 days of gold and silver. And over the last 4 days, we've built a foundation. I hope we built the foundation. And we've talked about why gold has been valued for thousands of years, the difference between money and currency, why central banks own gold, and yesterday we broke down inflation. Now today we're taking that conversation one step further. What actually happens to the purchasing power of your dollars over time? And more importantly, what can we learn from it? So let's make this extremely simple. Okay. Suppose I put a $20 bill on the table, right? Tomorrow it's still going to say $20. 5 years from now, assuming that it's still sitting there, it's still going to say $20. 20 years from now, it's still going to say $20. Now, what will that $20 actually buy? That's purchasing power. So when the general price rises over time, each dollar purchases fewer goods and services than it did before. Simple illustration. Think about some things that you've purchased for years: a gallon of milk, a restaurant meal, a movie ticket, a new automobile, a house. The price of any individual item can rise or fall for different reasons, but over long periods, broad inflation means your dollars generally don't stretch as far. So here's something that's easy to overlook: inflation. Inflation isn't necessarily a one-time event. Its effects can compound. So let's use a hypothetical example. If something costs $100 today and price increases by an average of 3% per year, it doesn't simply cost $103 forever. The next year's increase is applied to the new price, and that continues over time. At a hypothetical 3% annual inflation rate, something that costs $100 today will cost roughly $181 after 20 years. That's not a prediction, it's simply mathematics and showing really the potential effect of compounding inflation. So here's a key thought right here, right now. Inflation doesn't have to be dramatic in one year to become significant over decades. And there are several forces here at work. The Federal Reserve has a long run inflation objective of 2% as measured by the annual change in the price index for personal consumption expenditures. Doesn't mean every price increases exactly 2% every year. Inflation can be higher or lower, and the individual prices behave very differently. But here's the important concept: positive inflation means the general price level rises over time. And as prices rise, the purchasing power of each dollar declines. And this is where financial education becomes important. So instead of only asking, how much money am I saving? I think there's another question worth asking. What will the money I'm saving be able to buy me in the future? And there's two different questions. And this doesn't mean cash is bad. I mean, we need cash. Cash provides liquidity. Cash can help cover emergencies. Cash allows us to pay our bills. The lesson is simply that cash and long-term wealth building assets can serve different purposes. And now we come to the reason this matters for our 30 Days of Gold and Silver series here that we have going on here now. Why have generations of people actually looked toward gold? One reason is its historical role as a store of value, right? Gold has a finite supply. It can't simply be created by typing numbers into some kind of banking system, right? And it has been valued across cultures for thousands of years. That's why some investors use gold as one component of a diversified portfolio and a potential long-term hedge against certain economic risks. But I want to be very clear. Gold isn't guaranteed to rise when inflation rises. Gold prices fluctuate. There can be periods when gold performs well, and there can be periods when it doesn't. We're not talking about guarantees. We're talking about understanding different types of assets and their potential roles. For me, from my perspective, learning this changed the way I thought about building wealth. I realized that making money was only part of the equation. There was another equation. How do I preserve more of the purchasing power of what I build? And that really led me to deeper study into studying assets, diversification, entrepreneurship, gold, silver, and then financial education. And that's ultimately why I'm doing these 30 days. I'm not here to tell you what you have to buy. I'm here to encourage you to understand what you own. And I want you to remember these three words: earn, keep, protect. Learn how to earn income, learn how to keep more of it, and really educate yourself about ways to protect your purchasing power over the long term. Because building wealth isn't simply about how much money passes through your hands, it's really about you ultimately, what you can ultimately really build and preserve. So let's recap this today. Number one, a dollar's face value and its purchasing power aren't the same thing. Number two, inflation can compound over long periods. Number three, cash remains important, particularly for liquidity and short term needs. Number four, different assets can play different roles in a financial strategy. And number five, gold has historically been viewed by many investors as one potential store of value, but it comes with risk and price fluctuations, just like any other investment. So, if you're enjoying 30 days of gold and silver, make sure you subscribe, because tomorrow things get really, really interesting. And we're going to talk about and kind of tackle this subject: gold versus stocks. Should you own gold? Should you own stocks? Could there be a place for both? And we're going to break it down. Now, if you'd also like to learn more about the physical gold and silver platform that I personally use, you can visit the link in the description. At that link, that website will show you um, what you can look at for yourself. What you can use to do your own research and decide whether it makes sense for your situation. So I would love for you to like this video, subscribe for day 6, share this with anybody who needs to understand purchasing power. And then I want you to comment below this video: protect purchasing power, if you're committed to become more financially educated. And here's my closing thought for today, for day number 5. Building wealth isn't only about the dollars that you accumulate. It's about the purchasing power of those dollars and the assets that you own can preserve over time. Guys, I want to thank you for watching day 5 of 30 Days of Gold and Silver. I will see you tomorrow for day number 6. Have a wonderful day and God bless. Peace.